I love great conversations. Hi, my name is Angel Jones. Thank you for joining me on 12-minute convos where I help you create a brand of your own unique, real self. Listen in as I have conversations with amazing people from all over the world. Good night, Gary Winchester Jr. How are you going on this wonderful, beautiful night?
I am doing fantastic.
Hey, it's a great pleasure to connect with you, Gary. Please do tell us, what part of the world are you in right now?
I am right outside of Sacramento, California,
All right.
in a little, well, I say little town, but it's not really a little town called Rockland.
The guy I was speaking to before, Alexander, he is in San Diego. Isn't too far, right?
I think it's between eight or so hour drive.
Okay, that's
But
very
San
far
Diego's
then.
much nicer.
It's very far.
San Diego's way nicer, so yeah.
Yeah. He did start showing off a bit about the seas and stuff, and I had to let him know, hey, Alexander, I'm in the Caribbean, just to equal the playing ground. He's a sports guy, he's very competitive. But that being said, Gary, which of your talents is responsible for us connecting?
I would have to say social media, simply because we connected on LinkedIn, and I have been kind of on LinkedIn since 2007, 2008. And I've done speaking for LinkedIn, and so I've done social media for business since 2009. So I'd have to say that would be the reason.
Yeah. You're definitely on point. It's so much fun. So before, when I went for this goal to have a ton of conversations, I used Facebook, and I really just wandered into LinkedIn, right, and started connecting there with keywords. Like, I remember watching something from a previous group where they were showing you how to use keywords, and it's been fabulous. Like, the people I've connected with, more narrowed in terms of the podcasters I'm looking for this particular time, and just value, right? Just value. So, who did you
Yeah.
learn the skill of LinkedIn from?
Oh man, I've had many mentors help kind of refine and kind of reshape my skill. But the guy that got me started into social media and really focused on LinkedIn was Bernie Borges. And he wrote, I'm probably butchering his last name, but he wrote a book way back in like 2008.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think
I
it's
say way back
Bernie
because
though. I think it's Bernie I actually saw in the group though. Is he like an old guy?
no, he's a
Okay.
little older. He wrote a book called Marketing 2.0.
Yeah, I think it's him.
Yeah, and he spoke at an event my mom put on in Florida, where I'm from, and when he spoke, we ended up talking for close to 2 hours after, and he sparked me really wanting to. He gave, like, just the way he talked to me, he gave me the courage that I already knew what I would be doing and how to do it. And he's like, you need to do this, man. And so I would say he really got me going. And LinkedIn and Twitter were the first two places that I really pushed hard and launched my business and took off with.
Yeah. Well, tell us about the business. Is it Winchester Oils we're speaking about?
Well, that was not Winchester. That was I had started a marketing agency in 2009, and then that went on to become a partnership back into another business, and that turned into a partnership. And then I had my own business again and stopped doing that to be a stay-at-home dad. And then in December, my wife and I started Winchester Oils. And so I've been able to use my social media and online marketing skills, the things that I've learned over the last 10 years, and really apply those to help with Winchester Oils and how to really help people with essential oils.
Yeah, sounds like fun. I visited Tennessee recently, and a friend there was showing us the value of essential oils. Wow,
Nice.
it's like wow. Of course, there was a diffuser, and then you could do the
Yeah.
test, and you could like put your palm, and you could know where there were deficiencies. It's really amazing stuff, and it's so natural, right?
Yes. It's pure, safe, and natural. And we say safe because we use it on our children. We have a 1.5-year-old, a 3.5-year-old, and almost 8-year-old. So we use it on all 3 of our kids, and our oldest has, they say seasonal or mild asthma. And about a year ago, we almost lost him because he like almost stopped breathing. And they had him in the emergency room. But ever since then, he has not had to be on an inhaler, and we just use the essential oils on him daily and nightly. And our kids sleep through the night most nights, and don't wet the bed often. So it sounds minimal, but as a parent, and I don't have to get up at 3 a.m. to change the bed sheets.
No, it's a lot.
So
it's
yeah, I mean, it's been super helpful with our health, and I've used it for depression and mood stability and anger and all sorts of stuff. I mean, it's been I sound like a hot mess, but it's been pretty awesome.
You know, you sound as though life definitely happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is definitely life.
Yeah, believe me. I know what you're speaking of. Hey, so you've done this, so you've done business, and you know you've been in and out. Why will you continue to repeat the skill of entrepreneurship, even when it's challenging?
Because it's so much fun. It's given me more in return than I could ever have put into it. And I just look at it like on the hard days, I make my schedule. I work the schedule I want. I have the freedom to pursue my dreams. At the same time, it also requires much from me, but I just feel like I get far more from it than I could ever put into it. So I just keep that focused on the harder I work now, the more I gain, even beyond just having the schedule of freedom, or the freedom of my schedule. I don't even know if I'm wording that correctly, but it goes beyond that because I'm going to also be providing financially for my family through it. So, I mean, there's just so many rewards. It just makes sense.
Yeah, I think even from the perspective of your family, they're definitely getting more of Gary, right? And like Gary being present, like not
right.
Yeah, not Gary being there, but your mind is somewhere else, right? Like you're present, and
right.
that's always great value. Well, I believe it's great value.
Absolutely.
Tell me one other thing that you've done consistently over the last 3 years, please.
Oh man, learning. It was that's a really interesting question for me because I was trying to figure out like, let's see, I've had so many ups and downs. What have I done? One thing that I've done the whole time, and I would say learning. My dad taught me at an early age to never stop learning, and knowledge is power. So I always believed if I could keep learning and gain knowledge, eventually that'll prove to be very powerful in situations. And so the one thing I've done my whole life and still do every day is learn.
How does it make you feel though, Gary?
Encouraged because I don't feel like it'll ever stop. The day that it feels like there's nothing new to gain, would probably be feeling like life's over for me. Yeah. I like the newness. I like the constant chasing of knowledge and understanding. So with that, like for me is life. That's life.
Yeah, I was talking to possibly 2 episodes back, Amadou Han, right? From originally from Africa, and he was saying that the difference between the entrepreneur and the 9-to-5 guy is he keeps on learning, right? Like he's a lifelong learner. So it's pretty intriguing that you've gotten back into entrepreneurship, and one of the things you've done consistently is learn continuously. So that's just pretty intriguing. Oh, well, amazing audience. We are live with Gary Winchester. Hey, you could definitely check them out at winchesteroils.com, right? Yes. Gary's doing some amazing things here. Hey Gary, let's switch gears for a moment now and let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Gary, what is your earliest childhood memory?
That's I think my earliest childhood memory is I was about 4 years old, 3 or 4 years old, and I had this Dukes of Hazzard. I'm really dating myself. Dukes of Hazzard car that you put on a little plastic key and you press the button and it shoots off and it just rolls, right? And it had a ramp and all this stuff. And I remember I was playing with it forever on the floor with my mom, and I remember my grandmother or not my grandmother, my aunt taking it and trying to get the key to go in, and she broke it.
Wow.
And so I was like that is literally my earliest memory is my aunt breaking my toy.
Wow. So did you say how old you were? How old do you think you were?
I was about 3 or 4.
Why do you think this memory is so clear?
I think it's because I was wondering that same reason, or the same question. I was kind of wondering, like, why do I remember that so well? I think it's because my aunt and my mom have been two of the most influential people in my life, two of the most influential women in my life, and both have loved me regardless.
Yeah.
And even when they've made a mistake, they've tried to make the best of it. And when she broke it, I know she felt horrible, and I cried, but I was comforted. Like, she came to me and comforted me. And I think that just kind of has been the tone of my life. No matter the mistake and no matter what's going on, love will overcome all. And so I think that's been kind of like the tone. Love has always been what has helped me overcome everything, every obstacle. So.
Well, my friend, I don't think you need my services there. That is wonderful. Hey, Gary, if we fast forward to when you were 12 years old, what was your favorite song?
Oh, man, my favorite song at 12. Oh, my gosh. I think at the time I was listening to, probably nobody's going to know who this is, but I grew up having to listen to like very strict music. I was listening to Christian music at the time.
Right.
And I think for me, my favorite song was by Petra. They were my favorite band because me and my dad would listen to it all the time. And it was like the first and only Christian rock band. So that would have to be it.
All right, my friend. Well, we've arrived at our destination, but before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form. So it's going to be yes or no, possibly a bit more. We're going to go pretty quickly here. Are you ready, Gary?
Yes.
Gary, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Yes.
Are you married?
Yes.
Do you have children?
Yes.
How many?
3.
Do you believe in God?
Yes.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Yes and no.
All right. Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
No.
How about 3 hours a week?
Yes.
What about screen time, the phone and the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
Probably more.
All right. Gary, after 1,001 conversations in 3 months in 2016, I came up with a workbook. The name of it is called Yours. It stands for Your Own Unique Real Self. And the idea is, as you answer those questions, you uncover your mission, your own unique real statement. If you had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents Gary Winchester, what would you say that is?
To always be present and conscious about who I am being in all situations, but especially with my kid and my wife.
Love it. Gary Winchester, this was a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
Yeah, real quick. If you check out winchesteroils.com, please pardon the mess. It's a little under construction, but you can also check out my website. It's garywinchester.com. You can find some information there also about essential oils and more about me.
Oh, super. Yeah. Great stuff. Hey, Gary, again, great pleasure. Thank you for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Stay tuned for more from our advertisers.
Diabetes is a mountain pandemic. It's a disease that's not acute, but chronic. Similar to this rhyming method, I have simplified the definition, the signs and symptoms, and the complications of diabetes for both adults and children in my books, Poems for Patients, A Focus on Diabetes, and The ABCs of Diabetes for Children. These books are available on Amazon.com, and for more information, you can visit my website, poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com.